My main research lines right now, I have 3 of them. The first is I'm looking at trying to understand what increases engagement in secondary school science classes. My second major area of research is trying to help low-income and minority students go to college. And my third interest right now is to think about how interdisciplinary scholars can work together on interventions to enhance mindset. In our society, we certainly want to have more equitable distribution between genders. And more importantly, we have talent that's not being used. And we have to find ways to seek out our talent to help our global economy. And right now, we wouldn't want to have one particular gender be the only gender in a certain field because there's no role models, and we lose a great deal by not having women. So for example, in breast cancer research, we didn't make any big headways until women entered that field as clinical researchers. That changed the whole nature of what was going to go on in terms of how we were going to deal with prevention and detection. Similarly, we need to be able to have women in engineering and other places because with a much wider distribution, we have more talent, and then people can bring much more to the table in terms of making advances. It seems to me that there are 2 major threads. One is that it's a personal sense of who I am, what I'm about, and that is very much influenced by your family, by the people around you, by your teachers, and that plays on your self-confidence, your self-efficacy. That has a lot to do with how you interpret your world, whether or not you feel you belong, whether you think there's some sort of stereotypic threat that's operating on you as an individual. So we have all of these social, psychological factors that are embodied in the person that absolutely we have to find ways to help young people with that. That's why I'm so interested in this mindset research, because that at its basic level is at an individual human point of view. Now, the second is because I'm a sociologist, I'm very interested in context. So what are the institutional and contextual factors that we can change? Moreover, if we want to have reform, we have to, that is a much more speedy way to get to reform, is to move through institutions. The US government right now isn't preventing this from happening. The US government right now is trying to eradicate problems of gender discrimination and trying to do everything we can. In fact, we just recently have been dealing with issues of maternal leave, and more companies are moving into maternal leave. And I shouldn't just say maternal leave, family leave, excuse me. You could edit that out, but it should basically say family leave policies for people when they have children. Because the bottom line is that increasingly there's so many complex issues that make it very difficult for families, irrespective of gender, to be able to be in the workforce for long periods of time. So right now we're working on that. I think there's no question that the new reports that have come out recently about science and mathematics are very aware of these gender problems, and we're trying to create different kinds of learning opportunities and experiences for young people in school. I have an international project with the University of Helsinki in which we're looking at project-based learning, which is a very different way of how you teach science. And this is being embraced by some of our federal reports right now as a way to create a better, equitable environment to learn science. And we think that by doing by raising the science standards, by allowing for driving questions, cross-cutting concepts, and scientific practices, that we're going to have a more collaborative, cooperative way of learning, and through a more collaborative and cooperative way of learning that we're going to be able to encourage more students to get engaged in this and find a better way of increasing the numbers not only of women but minorities that are moving into STEM fields.